Do you have to have Zoom Plus to record?
No, I got the free one.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I got the free one. It's unlimited when it's only 2 people on a Zoom. Once you have a third person, then that's when it's the hour.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to be looking at GBP JPY. And are you familiar with TradingView at all?
I set up my account, but I haven't did it. I was trying to do the lines on it, but I couldn't figure out how to exactly get that.
Okay, no problem. So when you have your TradingView account, first things first, on your piece of paper that you have when you're doing your chart markups, you want to go to your indexes. So whatever pair that you choose to do, you want to go to your indexes. What I do is I normally open 2 tabs, so I can just go back and forth between the three tabs, my chart and then my 2 indexes. So if I come out, I'm just gonna come out of TradingView. So when you are looking for your indexes, in your beginners folder, there should be the indexes listed. So like British pound is BXY. So you're gonna type in the search right here, BXY. Then you're gonna click on your British index. It's in the name, so kind of. Okay, so the information that you want to take note of is going to be right here. You have your name, the actual value of their currency. So 1 British pound is like 140.6. And then you have your percentages. This is the part that's most important to you. So you do want to take note of that. The one thing that he does stress is that when the dollar reaches 10%, that is confirmation of it going in that direction. So if it's green, then that means it's getting stronger. If it's at 10 and it's red, it's getting weaker. So you can look, you follow it, but you can look for it to continue in that direction. All right. So did you take this information down for your pair?
Yes.
Okay. I might need to write it down. So BXY 140.6, green 0.1, 0.
Okay, so I need to write down all the numbers too when I write it?
I do because it just, that way when I have it, I'll show you why I do it, but this way I have all the information right in front of me.
Okay.
So we have the pound, now we need the yen, and the yen is going to be JXY. The one thing you can kind of remember with these pairs is that they end in XY. So same information. You want to look here. You want to take note of what's there. Now, you do need to also know when the markets are open and what pairs are within that market. Because as you can see, it's 6:40 right now. And the Japanese market currency, their market, it's closed. So one thing you want to be cautious of if you're trading a pair and one of them is closed, just remember if that market is closed, there's nobody working, there's nobody there to place the orders. So you're out of that session. So for instance, if the Great Britain markets are open and the yen is closed, the only person working is the pound. So whatever direction the pound feels like going, that's where it's going to go because there's nobody on the back end to, compete with it, so to speak.
Right.
All right. So once you have all that information, that's kind of all you need there. But you do want to watch it while you're in your trade, because that will that's one of your confirmations to let you know if your trade is about to reverse. So now what we're going to do is, I'm on the 1 hour. We need to go to the daily. So now that we're on the daily is our directional chart. So if you would just write down daily, and then you can do like a dash or parentheses, however, and you just want to say direction. And you want to write it down this way for the first 30 days, because this will actually help you remember what each chart's time frame is for.
Okay.
So once we're on the daily chart, you want to get your horizontal line. Now, you can, gold star it if you want. By gold starring it, that's just going to put it in your favorite box so that you have access to it faster. Now, the line for the daily chart is always burgundy. It's always burgundy. Now, just for today, I know today is Tuesday, but just for today, we're going to pretend that it's Friday and the markets are literally closed. It means nobody is working. So you want to find your immediate high. So the way to find your immediate high is you're looking for change of direction, high and low, sorry. You're going to be looking for the most obvious change in direction. So because today is Pretend Friday, we would use this last candle here. There are some exceptions, but for today, we're going to use this last candle as our high on the daily chart, and then we're going to use this one as our low. The reason why is because, as you can see, this is a clear downtrend. This is the lowest candle of the downtrend. Then it starts to reverse and go up. So clear directional change. That's what you're going to always look for when you're marking your highs and lows. You want clear directional change. We're using this high because it's the end of the week. It's Friday. The market is not moving. So that would be our high.
Okay.
All right. So the way I normally do it, because it's faster for me, and you want to, I'm not going to say rush through marking up your charts, but the whole point in you learning this is that you're not spending your 9-to-5 time in front of your computer. Your whole goal is to be able to live your life. So you want to come to over here and you want to grab your fibs. So grab your fibs. Now, the direction for this is going to be bullish. So you can like do a dash bullish on your paper. So now you know it's on the daily chart, it's for direction. Your current direction is bullish, so on a buy. And when you drop your fibs, you want to drop your fibs from low to high when you're on a buy. So you want to go from your lowest point, your support, it's called support normally. You want to go from your lowest point to your highest, which is your resistance. And you want to take note of your 38 point, your 0.382.
Okay.
So you want to write those numbers down. That's
you match it up with both those lines, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
So you want to write down that 0.382 number on your daily line because we're going to mark it. So it's going to be 147.418. And how we mark it?
7.148.
0.418. I said it backwards. I apologize.
Point. Okay.
All right. So to mark your 38.2 line, you want to use that same color. You want to use your burgundy line. You want to come to style, and you want to make it dashed. And then you just take your crosshairs. You drop it on that 0.382. And you have your line. And so that way you know where it is. I write down the numbers because if you notice, even though the line appears to be dead on the fibs with its line, you see the number that popped up on the side, it was 147.421. So a couple of pips off. So that's why I write down my numbers.
Stop yelling. Okay.
To get rid of it, to get rid of your fib so that you can go on to your next chart, you just want to pick a line on your fibs, right click, remove, and it's gone. So now we're going to move over to our 4-hour chart. So you want to write that down. Your 4-hour is going to be momentum. You want to write down the direction that you see. It's currently bullish as well. And it doesn't get a fib. Hi.
You said it doesn't get a fib?
No, ma'am. It does not. And the 4-hour chart is strictly for momentum. So that's basically how strong it's going to be moving in that direction. And it's currently bullish. So you want to grab your horizontal line. The 4-hour chart is always red lines. And then we want to do the exact same thing over again. We're going to find our high point and our low point to establish our support and resistance areas. So we're always looking for the change of direction. So here for the 4-hour chart.
Both of y'all go to bed. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You want to find your lowest candle where the direction changed. Sorry, I got to make that solid. So you want to find the lowest point where the direction changed, and then your highest point. So they can end up in the same place as the daily or 15-minute or even the 1 hour. And that's just going to happen because today is actually Tuesday, but we're pretending it's Friday. So again, this one doesn't get a fib. So this is all we do on this chart. We just find our low and our high, and you want to find the immediate high and low, because if you start going back here, then you're going to basically be in an area that's kind of the past, even though in trading, the market always repeats itself. So knowing its history is beneficial, but you can't trade in history. You got to trade with what's in front of you right here and right now. Right. So that's why we wouldn't choose these up here. So then we'll move from the 4-hour to our 1 hour. And the 1 hour chart is strictly for your take profit and your stop loss.
All right.
Okay. So we'll grab our horizontal line again. The 1 hour is going to always be in orange. And exact same thing. You want to look at change of direction. You want to have a clear indication of change in direction. We wouldn't use these because it didn't change direction. It's just a pullback in the middle of an uptrend. So today is Friday. We need to mark this last candle as our low. So it can be argued this one or this one. I'm gonna actually use this one because I feel like this is more of a pullback and it continued up.
Okay.
But this is the bottom of the area. And then this is going to be our high. So last candle of the day, that's why it's our high. Change of direction, that's why it's our low. And then the 1 hour chart does get a fib. It's in a bullish pattern. I'm sorry, bearish pattern. Sorry, that's a red candle. So bearish pattern, you have your bearish candles coming in. So when it's bearish, you're going to go from high to low.
You said this one is bear?
Yes, ma'am, bearish. So on a sell.
All right.
Okay, so you're going to go from high to low. So you're going to start at your orange line and go to your next orange line. So you're going to start at the resistance, swing down to your support, and then we're going to take note of where the 38.2 line is. And the 38.2 line is 149.379. And then we're going to grab our horizontal line again. We're going to change the style to dashed. And then we're going to drop on that line and then remove the fib. Okay. So now that we have our direction, momentum, our take profit, and stop loss, we're going to move over to our 15-minute. And on the 15-minute, we are looking for our entry points. So this is the area that we find where to get in the market. Have you gone through iMarkets Live yet?
I'm sorry, what was that?
The 15-minute chart is where we find our entry points.
Okay.
Have you gone through iMarkets Live yet?
For the most part, I have. When I was on the other company or whatever we were in, but now that we switched over to this, I was just trying to learn what you guys sent to me.
Okay, so if you notice, everything in IML does not teach you entry points because you're basically, they want you to use the harmonic scanner.
Right.
So you don't know when to get in and you don't know when to get out. This actually helps you learn when to get in and when to get out. So on the 15-minute chart, you're going to grab your horizontal line. You want to make sure the style is a solid line and it's yellow. Always yellow for 15 minutes.
Okay.
So this one's a bit different than the other three charts because the direction for this one is still bearish. But our high is going to be here and our low is going to be where the candle is because today is Friday, so there's no more movement. One thing that you can take note of is that if you feel that this is too close for your resistance area, then there's the three hump rule. You can look at this as the 1 minute low, 5 minute low, 15-minute low. So you can also do that. So with today being Friday, I would actually use this one. So 15-minute charts also get your fib because we got to find our entry points. And since it's bearish.
So 15-minute chart, you said you can mark it with 1 minute low, 5 minute, and then 15?
You don't want to mark it with that, but if you have like a little bit of consolidation going on, whereas they're like kind of, there's no real big difference. Like this one has a clear direction of going down. When there's consolidation, there's not always a clear direction. It's just kind of, we're going up, we went down, we went up, like a little wave. So you want to do the 1, 2, 3 at that point to get your 15-minute high or your 15-minute low.
Okay.
So we got to get our entry point. And because this is bearish, we're going to go from high to low again. So we're going from our resistance down to our support. And then we need our dashed line. So for the 15-minute, your entry is going to be 149.876. And then you're just going to drop a yellow dotted line on that.
Dotted line or solid line?
Dotted.
Oh, yeah, that's the middle. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So now that we have all of these marked out, essentially your chart is now marked up. What we have to do at this point is go back to the 1 hour chart. And sometimes you can get all of your lines back, but sometimes you can't, but they're still there. So when we get on our 1 hour chart, you want to determine which direction you believe the market is moving in. And just looking at the fact that the index is only at 7% and the yen is negative at 71%, I'm going to say that it's bearish because the negative portion is stronger. Even though the market isn't moving, it's still stronger. So the pound needs to gain some strength in the other direction to start overcoming that 71%. So you want to write down what your bias is, and you want to put bearish. So you know that you're looking to sell on this pair. You're looking for the sell. You want to come over here to your long and short. Long and short is going to be how you figure out your 3-to-1 ratio. You always do 3-to-1 ratio because you want to gain more than you risk. So in other words, you're risking, say for instance, 1 pip to gain 3 pips.
Okay.
So to speak. So since we think this is what I think, let me correct myself. So since I think that this is a bearish situation that's happening, I'm going to do a short. Short means sell, long means buy.
Okay.
And then I'm going to drop it here on the yellow dotted line because that's our entry point. So red is where your stop loss is. Green is your profit. Now, the ratio currently when you first drop this is going to be 1. So it's a 1-to-1 situation. You're risking 1 to gain 1. You want to change that. By changing that, you're going to grab one of the little circles in the red corner, and you're going to drop it, bring it down, and get it as close to 3 as you can. Every now and again, it'll line up perfectly on 3, but you want it to be as close to 3 as you possibly can get it.
All right.
So I currently have it at 3.2. So you're risking 10 pips to gain 31 pips. That's your 3-to-1 ratio. If you look over here in the corner on this side, you're gonna have your numbers for your entry. I mean your stop loss and your take profit. So the stop loss is going to be right here. It's going to be right here. Those numbers there, and your take profit is right here.
So the top and the bottom, basically, in the red and green?
Sometimes the more lines you have on there, they'll fall in different areas. You just have to know that it's red and green. That's kind of it. Now, if you use red lines, like we have a red line right here, so notice this line is red. That's for the number that went here. So you just, you always just want to make sure. I sometimes will drop my crosshairs there, and that way I can get the numbers from there just to make sure that I'm getting the right ones. So your stop loss is 149.981. And your take profit is 149.563. Now, one way to be able to keep up with all this information, because if you decide, which is not recommended by Robert, but if you decide to mark up multiple charts, and if you have like a notebook like I do with just a whole bunch of stuff, I have it dated and organized, but it's just a whole bunch of stuff. You want to put on your chart what you're looking at, so when you get back to it, it's just right there in front of you. So you're just gonna type it out.
And how do you get that part?
The T, the little T in the corner, right there. So the BX5 was 140.6. 0.1 parentheses 0.07%. XY, JXY. I heard caps lock. Is 3.80.
What man?
It puts numbers on it.
Okay, so once you have all that on there, you just place it somewhere where you can find it. When you manipulate your chart, like move it around or whatever, it doesn't lock, so it can get lost. That's why I do it last. Now, each one of your 38.2s are going to be opportunities. So if you were to have missed your entry point on your 15-minute chart, and just say the market is down on your 1 hour 0.382 line, then you're going to look for your test. You're going to look for your 3 candle count. So what we're looking for when we look for our, now that we have our chart set up, what we're looking for is our 3 candle test. On our 15-minute chart, we have 1, 2, 3. So those are active. Were at one point active, I should say. I typically do not count wicks. I was told not to count wicks. You will see other people say differently, so that's why I'm showing you. Some people would count this as your 3 on your 15-minute chart. I don't, because that's a wick. This is a body. This is a body. So only 2 bodies touched it. But for training purposes, if you count these 3, then you would say these 3 are active. Now, because if you say these 3 are active, you're looking for it to go into phase 1, which is a pause, and phase 2 is a cancellation. So you're looking for this to be canceled out, because you have 1, 2, 3 here, and this is a clear directional change. They actually can't put this one on pause. So now these are on pause. So this one's active if these 3 candles weren't there, but since they are, now you would say they're on pause. Okay. So if this one's on pause, that means these are active. Change the color on it real quick to yellow. So now your sell candles are active. So now this is the active one while the other one is paused. It's confusing, so let me know if I need to
I mean, I know why you put active 2. Oh, okay, pause 1. Okay, now I get it.
Yeah. So active 1, now active 1 is paused, you have your active 2. And that's for your 15-minute line. Now I typically do mine in order. So I'll go in, like if I got this marked as active, when I get the next set in, I'll still say active, but I'll say active 2, active 3, so on and so forth. So I can clearly see how it's being canceled out. Even if I started way down here. If I started way down here, then, you know, like if none of this was up here and I actually started down here where the 1 hour chart is, I do the exact same thing. This would be my active 1, pause 1, cancel 1, like that. So 1, 2, 3 for the 1 hour chart. And I color coordinate them. Yeah. I just do. But it makes it easier for me to just glance at it and see what I'm doing. I need to make that darker. There we go. So I'll just say active 0, whatever. So this one is technically the active one, the last active one, because I'm not gonna go back that far, but this is technically an active one because if none of this is here, this is what's taking place. Now, when the next 3 candles come in, like I said, I don't count wicks, but you know, some people do. So you have your 3 here. And then technically you would say pause 0, active 0, 1, something like that. So you have your 2 red, you need 3 in order to cancel this one. So there's no third one, so this one is still active. It's continuing in this direction. The only difference is now you can say 1, 2, 3. Cancel or end 0. So now this set just completely canceled out this one. If you did not have this one here, then this one's only on pause. So unless another set of candles comes back to completely say, hey, you're done for the day, you still have to take into account that the candles will come back down and touch this 38.2, 0.382. You have to take into account that this will get respected and it will continue on a downtrend once it hits this line. Now that it's been taken off the board and we have our buy candles in play, it will come back to this line at some point. The thing about that is that it will come back, respect this area, and go back up. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like for the beginners group, this is pretty much it. Is learning your zones, learning your support and resistant areas, learning how to determine what candles are active and why they're active, and learning how to find your indexes and how to read the chart, so to speak, in the beginning stages. So, do you have any questions?
No, I think for the most part, I'm good. I'm gonna try to maybe play with one when we get off, so that if I do have questions, I can ask them later. But for the most part, nope.
Okay. And so, do you think it's easy for you to find your highs and lows? Like, if you had like a clean slate chart, would it be easy for you to find your high and low?
Yeah.
Okay. You're saying but you're smiling, so.
Me.
So you always want to look for clear change in direction. If for some reason you don't see clear change in direction, like you're like, I'm not sure, if you come over here and make sure your candles are always on the Heikin-Ashi.
Okay.
By using the Heikin-Ashi candles, it eliminates you looking at price fluctuation. The fluctuation of price, I should say.
And that's under the candle bar, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
So if you're having, like, you're just 100%, you're looking at it and you're like, I wonder if this is where it changed direction. Go to your line graph and you'll see it. You'll see it a lot clearer. Like you can see it spiked down here, but it continued down. You can see once it hit this point here, it continued up and it just kept going up. Like no question, it just kept going up. You can see here, it turned down. And because it's a live chart, it's moving, but you can see it turned down. So if you have any, second thoughts about where it is, just go to your line chart and you can see it there, and then just come back to
And the line chart is where?
Same place.
The candles were just there.
Yeah, the candles,
Okay.
line, like all that
All right.
right there. Now, the reason why you use the Heikin Ashi candles is because if you had these candles, which is what will be on your actual trading chart, whether you choose LMFX, JAFX, or LDQ, whatever the other one is, this is what your chart normally looks like. And so you really, all you're looking at is the fluctuation of price. You're seeing 3 candles here, it dropped, but it started to go up, drop, started to go up. What you want to know is clear direction. So that's why I use the Heikin Ashi. And you can see the difference, because where this one had a red candle, green candle, then green. It was red and red for those 2 hours, and then it began to go up. And you've been in IML for a minute, sounds like, so you do know that each candle represents 1 hour on your hour chart, daily chart. Each candle represents 1 day, right?
Right.
Okay. I just don't want to miss anything. Do you have any questions about finding the indexes?
The 15-minute one, same way, right?
I'm sorry.
Small team, and that they're the same way. One represent that on a minute.
Yes. So each candle in the 15-minute chart represents 15 minutes. So 4 candles represents an hour.
All right. All righty.
All right. I don't think I'm missing anything, but if you have any questions, I can elaborate.
Okay. Now I think that's pretty much it. I learned a lot and I got confidence. So I'm gonna try and see if I can
And I always recommend, even though my husband
and play with it and hopefully.
So only thing I can recommend at this point, because this is the beginners group, you don't really want to abandon your IML tools such as your harmonic scanner and stuff like that. You do want to continue to use those until you are comfortable in your skill set that you can look at a chart, read a chart comfortably, and you feel like you don't need the harmonic scanner or the web analyzer if you have that. Because there's some additional steps that you're going to be learning as you progress to the secret society that will wean you away from those tools so that you can be completely self-sufficient in your trading. Always back test, always demo if you need to. If you are in a position where you're like, okay, I want to try something, but of course you don't want to lose your money. So that's what Mr. Monopoly is for. So use the demo account to do any sort of testing on any theories that you may have. I do it all the time. Like I've been demoing just with the indexes to figure out how the indexes play a role more than just saying which is stronger and which is weaker. And so, yeah, I like demo accounts. But if you don't have any questions, as soon as this uploads, I will send it to you. I will send you a screenshot of what we have here in front of us so that you'll have it to go back. You should have a clean chart so you can always compare. If your numbers are off by like a pip or two, that's fine. No two people are going to drop their fibs in the exact same spot. It's just, I haven't seen anybody do it yet. But yeah, so it's nice meeting you. And I'm glad that you came aboard. Because you're Keisha's friend, right?
Me too. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I'm glad you ladies came aboard. You guys came in just as we started the Currency Goddess group. We literally started like a couple of days ago. So Chastity, myself, and Candace, we're moms.
I was wondering about the names. I have no idea what I would name myself.
I'm sorry?
Like the names that.
You're breaking up. I apologize.
It's
like you're
Tina?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I'm finished actually message.
I just heard a message. That's all.